How does a humble son of a farmer, chosen as an interim pope, end up changing the face of the modern church? It's a story that begins in the quiet fields of northern Italy and unfolds beneath the frescoed ceilings of the Vatican, culminating in a burst of renewal that still echoes through history. This is the story of Angelo Giuseppe Roncalli, better known as St. John XXIII, the Pope of Surprise. Angelo Roncalli was born in 1881 in the tiny village of Sotto il Monte. His family was poor, tending vineyards and fields, living simply and close to the land. From childhood, Angelo learned the rhythms of prayer and work, humility and trust. He was an ordinary boy with ordinary dreams, quietly attentive to the needs of others. Even as he entered the seminary, his heart remained rooted in the everyday struggles of his family and neighbors. Roncalli's journey through the church was marked not by ambition, but by service. As a young priest, he worked with youth, prisoners, soldiers, and the sick. He never lost his gentle humor or his ability to listen. He was sent where needed: Bulgaria, Turkey, Greece, France. In each place, he brought warmth and openness, forging friendships across religious and cultural divides. Diplomacy, for him, was not a matter of strategy, but of sincerity, meeting people as they were and loving them for it. By 1953, Roncalli was appointed Patriarch of Venice, a prestigious role for a man known more for his pastoral heart than for ecclesiastical politics. 4 years later, at the age of 76, he was called to Rome for the conclave that would elect a successor to Pope Pius XII. The College of Cardinals saw him as a safe choice: elderly, genial, unlikely to shake things up. He was, in their eyes, an interim pope, someone who would keep the seat warm until the next big decision. But God delights in surprises. On October 28, 1958, the world awoke to the news. Angelo Roncalli was now Pope John XXIII. He appeared on the balcony of St. Peter's, his face radiant with joy, his eyes twinkling behind thick glasses. From the start, he confounded expectations. Instead of following the formality of his predecessors, he greeted the crowds with warmth, calling himself "your brother." He visited hospitals, prisons, orphanages, places where the church's presence meant comfort and hope. He wrote encyclicals about peace and social justice, speaking in plain language that resonated with ordinary people. But the greatest surprise was yet to come. Less than 3 months into his papacy, John XXIII announced something no one anticipated: an ecumenical council, the first in nearly a century. Vatican II would bring together bishops from around the world, opening the church's windows to let in fresh air. The announcement was met with shock, skepticism, and, in some corners, resistance. Why risk disturbing the status quo? Why invite debate and uncertainty? John XXIII knew the answer in his heart. The world was changing. Technology, war, new cultures, new questions. The church could not remain locked away from history. It needed to renew itself, to speak to modern humanity with compassion and clarity. Vatican II was not about abandoning tradition, but about rediscovering its deepest roots, making faith accessible and alive for all. Throughout the Council's preparation and first sessions, John XXIII was a guiding light. His smile disarmed critics. His laughter broke tension. His humility inspired courage. He encouraged the bishops to speak openly, to listen deeply, to seek unity rather than division. His famous prayer, "O Holy Spirit, renew your wonders in this our day," became the heartbeat of the Council. Beneath the grandeur of Vatican processions and theological debates was the simple faith of a man who never forgot his origins. John XXIII wrote in his journal about the importance of humility. Only humility will save the church. He saw himself not as a ruler, but as a servant. When asked to describe himself, he replied, "I am just a poor man, a peasant's son, who has become pope by the grace of God. His laughter was infectious, his tears sincere. He called for peace in the midst of the Cuban Missile Crisis, sending heartfelt appeals to world leaders. He embraced people of all faiths, reaching across divides with kindness and respect. As Vatican II unfolded, the Church began to change. Latin gave way to local languages in the liturgy, making worship accessible. The laity were invited to participate more fully in the life of the Church. Dialogue with other Christians and with the modern world became a priority. The doors, once closed, were thrown open. John XXIII did not live to see the Council's completion. In 1963, after a brief illness, he passed away, mourned by millions. Yet his legacy endures. The ripples of his courage, his warmth, and his vision continue to shape the Church and the world. He showed that renewal does not come through power or prestige, but through humility and trust. The farmer's son became a father to all, teaching that greatness is found in smallness, and that God chooses ordinary instruments for extraordinary purposes. What can we learn from this Pope of surprise? First, that history is written not only in grand gestures, but in daily faithfulness. John XXIII's life was a tapestry of small acts, listening, encouraging, forgiving, praying. He did not set out to change the world. He simply responded to the needs before him. His openness allowed God's grace to work through him, transforming the Church from within. Second, that humility is power. In an age that celebrates ambition and self-promotion, John XXIII reminds us that true strength lies in service. By embracing his limitations, he became a channel for God's abundance. His example invites each of us to consider, where might God be working through our smallness, our ordinary lives, our quiet faithfulness? God delights in surprising the world. The story of St. John XXIII is proof that the most unexpected people can shape the course of history. You do not need titles or influence to make a difference. You need only a willing heart, a listening ear, and the courage to say yes to what God asks each day. So be open. The seeds you plant in kindness, the prayers you offer in secret, the burdens you carry in faith. These may be the instruments through which God writes the next chapter. Let us remember the Pope of Surprise, and let his story inspire us to trust that our own smallness too can become something beautiful in God's hands.